That's crazy.
Dog.
Shout out to Hanji. I gotta just say it right now.
Oh yeah, yeah. So
Out of both episodes, Hanji, this was Hanji's shining moment. She's the OG for the for the start of this part two of final season, yo.
dude,
She is the GOAT.
yeah. Everybody watching right now, just so y'all know, this is our spoiler discussion on this crazy show, Attack on Titan, the final season. Um,
Could we even do this any other way? There's just so much emotional damage. I don't even know if we could do this in a non-spoiler version.
I don't think
It could
so.
be, yeah, it's just
I don't think so because it's just way too. This joint hit hard. The joint hit hard to the point that I was like, we got through the first half of this, and I was kind of like, I think I need a kind of a break. Let's come back next week.
but they didn't even give you the break. It was like
No,
chapter 2, the sinners. What? We don't get an outro. We don't get no credits, no nothing.
dude. You know what would have been dope? I wish they would have did it. They might for the dub pay-per-view, but they should have released that joint in the movie theaters for real, for real.
Yo, that would have been fire.
Because I would have been flipping out. And
Yeah.
like I know it's two
Oh my
episodes,
god.
but
Who cares? That would
seeing
have
that in
been
a theater
fire.
format,
Oh, that would have been ridiculous. Cause just the amount of carnage that we saw, it the carnage was well, I'll say this. The carnage was minimal in visual, but the impact of what they showed of the carnage, it's honestly the same. It's the equivalent of actually watching the entire massacre. And
yep.
then when you had to step away so there was a scene you didn't see. Falco was sitting up in the bed losing it because they told him that the rumbling basically took out the majority of the continent of Marley.
Marley.
Like of Marley. He's literally like calling people's names out like, yo, everybody's like, are you serious right now? And he is literally in tears, screaming, bugging out. Like there's nothing we could have done. And they're, they're in there talking and they're Peaks in there talking with it, like, look, that's it. It's over. Like
Right.
most of Marley, the majority of the continent of Marley is done.
Yeah, they got stumped over quick. We didn't even see it.
Mm.
It's just, I mean, we didn't even have to see it because
No, the impression was made.
that small little scene, and I kind of felt like that when Aaron and them when they went over the first time together, and they saw like the family down at the bottom, and they drunk with them and have fun. Like Aaron that was the time that he was really emotionally compromised. He kind of just looking at them, and then he asked Mikasa like, how do you really feel about me? Do you love me? All that. Like now it makes sense connecting with this young man. Like he saw this young man getting beat to death basically, and he kind of
Mm-hmm.
questions like, what right do I have to save him when I'm going to be the one to kill him later?
Right, exactly.
But and I think this is the crazy thing, and it's almost like it parallels his relationship with his friends. Even though he knows for a fact that he's gonna be the person to kill them, he couldn't let it go to not save that kid.
Yeah.
To the point that he making himself suffer, saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm justifiably doing this. I know for a fact I want this, but I feel bad. The burden
Mm-hmm.
of what I'm doing is hurting me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm sorry. It parallels the whole relationship with his friends because when he brought them on together, and like Arma was like, why did you bring us here? Like, you've already stated, look, I'm going to keep going forward. Like, I'm not going to change you guys. I'm not going to take the option of freedom out of your hands because you are free people. but I'm stripping it away from everybody else. You guys can preserve everybody else's right for freedom, but there's only one way around this, is you're gonna have to stop me. And it's crazy because he could stop them.
At any
He,
point.
he could just be like, you don't have the abilities anymore. None of you. Like, he could just wipe them all out without even being connected to them. And it's
Right.
not just because they're friends. I think it goes back to, like, yeah, I'm an unstoppable force, but I still got to do what's right. And I think the right thing is to give them a chance to stop
Mm.
me. That's the
Yeah.
crazy thing.
Yeah.
Like, he's basically saying, look, I'm Judgment Day. I really can't be stopped, but the right thing is to let you have hope.
I think in this particular case for him, it's like, if I do this, if I was to just completely eradicate everything but Paradise Island and yet not have any let and not even give anyone an opportunity to stop me.
Yeah,
I
check.
think in his mind, it would be like, I'm no better than the people that oppressed us.
Yeah.
I'm no better than the Marlians. So I'm going to literally decimate the entire world, starting from just off Paradise Island, making my way across the entire globe. And this won't stop till I circle it and make my way back to Paradise Island, you know. But I'm going to give you the chance to stop me, and we'll find out who was right in the end. Was it me, or was it you all? Like, does everybody deserve to die for what was done to our families with the history? Do they all deserve to die? Or are you all saying that even in the midst of all this, these folks still have the right to live or exist?
Mm,
That's real. It's like I said, it's like, you're the I'm the unstoppable force. You're the immovable object. There's nothing left to talk about. We are just going to collide. And when we collide, you're going to have to do, and it's all, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the dichotomy of the Batman versus the Joker. The
yep.
Batman will not kill, but the Joker always puts him in a position where the only way he can truly stop the Joker is to kill him. And in killing him, the Joker wins because he allows him to break his one rule.
Yep.
And that's what Aaron is doing to his friends. The only way you can stop me is kill me. Yet I know you all love me too much. So what are you going to do? Are
Yeah.
you going to try to stop me, or are you going to actually do what need be done? And I think that's why he brought them to that other plane, to let them know, look, you can sit here and talk and discuss all the strategies you want to try to save me, pull me out of the Titan, all that stuff. But the truth of the matter is, I'm bringing you here to just let you know we don't need to talk about anything else. The only one option you have is to battle me and fight me and take me out. You have to make me draw my last breath. When he said that, I was like, oh, this is classic Joker Batman. In order for you to beat me, you got to do the one thing you don't want to do.
Yeah.
The one thing.
Yeah. It's interesting because, like, again, I'm gonna keep harping to the scene that they paid so much attention on, is Aaron crying.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even the first episode, we didn't know why Aaron was crying, and now we see, like, it's his pain of what he's done or what he's going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, you know, most psychopaths, sociopaths, I mean, they have a lapse in moral compass. Like, it's like a part of them is a switch. It's like it's turned off. They could care less the value of life or death. It doesn't really matter. Aaron, even though he feels as though this is what it's come to, he doesn't like ending lives. He doesn't like
Yeah.
killing people. And that's the interesting thing. I think that part of him honestly is fine with them killing him. Like, it's not as though it's like, yeah, I know you got to fight me, but it's like, you know what? If you can, this will stop this one way or
Yeah.
another. Like, and that is, I haven't seen a character like this ever. We never have seen a character like this. Um,
Yeah, we have, or at least it has been discussed many a times. You are the protagonist.
mhm,
You have standards, you have rules. You hate a certain entity,
mhm,
and yet you understand that in order to solve the bigger 50,000-foot view picture
mhm.
in your mind, you think you must become that in order to solve it. You know, you either what they tell you, you either die a hero or live long enough to become the villain. That's what we're dealing with. He hated, remember this, he absolutely hated the Titans. He watched them kill
His
his
own mother.
mother.
Hmm.
You know, matter of fact, let's keep it real. He technically watched his stepmother kill his mother. Like, let's be real about that. Like, he literally hated them. And in the end, he became one of them. Now, to the point he's utilizing them to do the one thing that caused his hatred in the first place.
Yep.
He's killing, he's wiping everyone off the board with the
Yeah.
exception of Paradise. Now, you can't tell me that if there was a child out there that's literally seeing this rumble happen, right? And in some way, somehow becomes a Titan, you don't think they would be going after the Titans the way Aaron went after them? Like, this is a cycle. The only reason why that's not happening is because, in some way, whether it be fate or planned, Aaron holds all the cards,
All of them.
all of them, to the point where he's literally giving you cards to try to beat me.
Yeah.
Yet if he snaps his fingers, blinks twice, or simply gazes, you're done.
Yeah.
You're absolutely done. You know, he
Yeah.
can, like, well, I'm just going to pick up the basketball and go home. He can do that at any point. And if anybody poses an argument, they're done.
Yeah. That was the thing that I realized, is that when he manifested out of nowhere Zeke's Beast Titan,
Yeah.
I realized he didn't have to just do one Titan. He could do multiple on his back. Because I think, honestly, he kind of was like, yeah, let me get these things out of my way. I don't feel like kind of slowing this down. But real rap, he probably could manifest multiple different types of Titans
Yeah.
all over his back. And that's insane.
But
Like,
it's also an insult to injury, because now those same people who were there, who had that little bit of hope, even though there wasn't an airship in place, they watched those airships do a bombing run and they had a little bit of hope. And it wasn't the fact that they were taken out, it was the fact that one of their own took them out.
yep,
Like, I'm using your own people against you.
yep,
That was the insult to injury. That was like that's the cold piece of work. That's the slap in the face. He was like, look, there's no hope for you. I'm using your own against you. I'm not even going to waste my time generating new Titans in order to take these out. I'm just going to use the one I have that is your own and let him do what he does best. It's
dog.
crazy.
It was insanity. And it's crazy because I felt so bad for them. Like, I was like, this is Annie's, dad. This is Rainer's folks. This is
Mm-hmm.
what's her name? Gabby's parents. Like,
Mm-hmm.
these people, we've come to know them, not necessarily love them, but understand them, come to understand them from this fourth season.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, I really don't want them to die like this. And then all of a sudden, a
Yep.
glimmer, because it ain't really hope. It's more so like the possibility of
Right.
them lasting a moment longer. Because honestly, I still don't know how they're not going to get trampled over. Like Aaron said, I'm not going to slow down or stop. The best thing they could do, in my opinion, is try to figure out if they can get some fuel, get on that black man's plane, because he was clutch. He,
Right.
he saved everybody,
Mm-hmm.
and try to dip out of there. Because the only thing he's dealing with, he's just got a lack of fuel. If he can land and they get on that jet, I would dip. I would go the
Yeah,
complete
but
opposite way.
I don't think they're all gonna fit because remember that train was basically packed. You saw all those people roll up there. I don't think they would fit on that plane. On top of which, that's a seated airplane. I don't even and plus it lost a part of its wing
Yeah.
on the bottom. I mean, it may still be able to fly if you take the other one off because if it's got the landing gears, it should be able to take that other C one off and go. But I don't think it's going to come to that point because even it'll just be a recreation of when they first took off. They got to refuel, and there's no guarantee that they're going to be able to refuel that plane in time to get off the ground and get away with an entire rumbling coming. Like it's just I just don't see it happening. So I truly believe that where Armin and the rest of the battalion landed, that's gonna be probably the final stand. That area is probably gonna be the final stand. And the question really becomes is if Aaron can see the future, does he know he's gonna be stopped? Or does he know he's not gonna lose? And if he knows he's not gonna lose, why leave this in place? And this is what I think he's used his ability to see into the future. And I think it's almost like, Doctor Strange. It's almost like Infinity War when he went through like the 14,305,000 different views and they only won one. I think Aaron already knows that the best outcome in the future was for them to defeat him. You
Yeah.
know, and honestly, I don't think Aaron's gonna die, and I don't think they're gonna make him draw his last breath. I think they're gonna find a way to actually save him. But I think because he's seen the memories, he's able to go between the future and the past. I think he knows the best outcome for this scenario. He already knew it, but he knew it was going to require his friends to stop him. And I think that's why he has not deprived them of their Titan powers.
So this is one thing that I mean, we ain't even talked about some of the crazy moments, but one thing
Mhm.
that it is interesting to me about what you just said is Aaron. There's two different things that Aaron has with the founding Titan. He can erase anyone's memories.
Mhm.
Like any Eldian, like he can eradicate any their memories. But it's something that's been happening since the beginning of this is that people are starting to take notice that the people of Paradise are trying to stop this. It was something that somebody said on at the end of the episode. They were like, wait, are those the Paradise? Like, they're trying to stop the rumbling from happening? And I'm kind of like, that word is going to spread.
Mhm.
And I wonder if he knew that.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of like, yeah,
The
I
bad
will
guy.
be the villain of the story so you can understand their value and their worth.
Mhm.
Like they are more than capable of taking and protecting you than anything that you've ever tried to do.
Right.
And I think that's fascinating to me because there's possibly some truth to what you're saying. I don't know. We don't know. We ain't read the manga, so please don't spoil it for us in the description bar below.
Yeah.
But
Please
I
don't.
think that is very plausible. I just don't see if I don't see Aaron living only because of what he's done. I really don't. Like the world is not gonna forget what he's done. Now,
No,
go
they're
ahead.
not. I agree with you. I don't think they are, but I think if he's actually seen the future, he's probably, not to say that he's looking for a way to still live on and survive,
Hmm.
you know. Um, but I think he could even find a way, if he found a way to lose and get the bigger picture, like you said, where Marlians are like, look, the people of Paradise Island are actually trying to stop this, and they spread that word. There may be something else in there to where, it might be Mikasa who negotiates or says, hey, everything is done. The only request we have is you leave him to us. And
Right.
maybe him and Mikasa go off somewhere, never to be seen again. Maybe live their lives out. Who knows? Have a kid or two, whatever. But my thing is, I think in the end he's going to live, because I think in the end his goal is kind of like what you said. The only way you really eradicate something like this is it's kind of like what the lady from Hizuru said. Like, why is it that we have to face near the end to have respect for all people? And I think that's what Aaron was doing in the first place. How do I get these people to understand that we're all the same kind of human beings,
Right.
and we should be able to live together? But
Yeah.
usually in the even in the real world, the only way we start unifying is when there is a bigger issue. Where were we at before coronavirus?
Right. We're on
Like,
the brink of World War III, technically.
exactly, exactly. So then you've got to think, was that the plan all along?
Mm,
You know, Depending on whomever you believe in, the higher power, if you believe in that. But was that God's plan? Was that the deity's plan all along? You know, that we have coronavirus so we can see the bigger picture of stuff. It's kind of the same thing here. Like, because what Aaron is doing is basically anime godlike. It's almost like, I'm allowing you to keep your stuff because I could easily have taken it from you. But I think in the grand scheme of things, he knows what the future is. He also know who was going to die, and he didn't like that. He didn't want to sacrifice anybody, but he knew if it was going to have the impact it has, he had to pull um he had to do this task. He had to Ozymandias this thing. Like,
I
you
mean,
know,
shoot, that's the greatest comparison
yep.
because
He's like I did that thing 35 minutes ago. Done. Like, that's what he did.
it's just so hard to wrap your head around what's really happening. Um, I don't know. It's just because even when the people realized the airships didn't work, and I think it was Rainer's his mom, and she just
Yeah.
had this like realization of her sins, basically. Like, I
Yep.
can't believe I did this to my son. I can't believe that my thirst for vengeance is also a catalyst to this.
Hmm.
Even the guy was like, if we survive through this again, I will never have this, thought of injustice and basically racism in my heart over
And
any other race, because it's like, if it ends to this and this is what it leads to, I can't be a part of it. But anyway, before we go there, I gotta bring up this moment that finally broke me down. It finally broke me down. It
ah,
tore my eyes up, tore my heart up when Hanji, R.I.P. Hanji,
yes,
OG, one-eyed Hanji, four
goat,
eyes, the GOAT.
the
And it's
goat.
crazy because I should have known. I should have known when I was kind of like, okay, Levi's going out there with her. Like, I was like, oh dang, this is her last moments. And when
Hmm.
he kind of gave her, I can't remember what exactly he said. What did he say? Give it your,
Give your heart.
give your heart.
Basically, he used his hand to make their hand sign.
Yep.
Like, and that's what did it for me. It was
Yeah.
like, I wanted to be there. Like, I got you, yo. Do your thing.
Right.
Like, that's what he
Right.
did.
Right.
And keep in mind, yes, she is the GOAT, but
Uh,
that's not greatest of attack of all time. That's greatest of Attack on Titan right there. Like she is
uh,
the GOAT. She went out. I think she went out better than most, if not all everybody.
she
Like she.
literally went out in flames.
Mm-hmm.
Like when she, this is the crazy thing. She would put in work. Like she was like going through these jokers. Like these are colossal titans. These not like small titans.
Yeah, these are
And
like hundreds of thousands of Armins. Like,
and she's like cutting them down. The only thing that messed her up was time. She didn't have enough time to get through because it wasn't a matter of like she couldn't get through them. It was like crap. They're reaching them. We don't have enough time to get out, and so
mm-hmm.
she kind of had to
And the
sacrifice
heat.
herself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and the heat. I think she would have been able to hold them off even if it was for a few more minutes if that heat wasn't coming off of them. Like that's what did her in.
right.
But even in the midst of that, burning alive, she still took out, I want to say, like two or three of them things.
Bruh, like this, I was like watching, I was like, yo,
Mm,
she is in complete fire. And she's still putting in that freaking work. Like her ODM gear wasn't even actively working. And this is the crazy thing. She got one eye, bro. She
yep.
don't got two eyes. Like you can see the patch over there to the left, and
Mm-hmm.
she can barely see because there's flames on her.
Yep.
Like I was like, no, I got such a terrible feeling that
Mm-hmm.
this is gonna be harsh, bro.
I mean, we kind
The
of we kind of
the
knew.
whole thing is gonna just be harsh.
Yeah. And the thing was, I was actually, believe it or not, I was actually looking for her to make it. I was. I really was. But once she made the comment she made, I was like,
But
okay.
the heat,
No, the comment she made about, I brought you all here. I'm responsible. I'm going to do this. When she said that, I was like, you know what? This is her moment. This is where she is going to die. And it is actually very fitting because in that moment, she is passing on the responsibility to Armin of all people.
right?
Like she's putting Armin in the position of not just a key figure into stopping Aaron, but leadership.
Yeah,
He's finally in the role that he's always been meant to fill.
facts.
And it's one of those things where it's like, can Armin actually lead them to, victory? And you might have had your doubts, but once he was in that other plane and Armin laid out, the ground rules, like we're not talking. You want to stop me, you basically got to fight me and take me out permanently. When Armin came to that realization, because even when they were talking about it, Armin was like, we'll do that as a last resort. If there's really nothing we can do
Right.
to either talk him out or get him out, cut him out, whatever, even take Zeke out. So if there's truly nothing we can do, then he's got to go. And when Aaron interjected and basically said, "You can talk to the cows come home. The only way this stops is you got to take me out." It was almost as if Armin said, "Okay." Because when he jumped out that plane and called Aaron, it almost felt like a dude, I'm coming to kill you. Like the fact
Mm.
that you put me in this position to kill my friend, I'm pissed, but I'm coming for you. Like I loved how they set this up because they basically made it where the impression is there's no more moves on the chessboard.
Mm.
There's no more strategies with the squads, with the battalions. The wings of freedom doesn't matter. You know, it's gonna be a straight up battle,
Yeah.
head on. We ain't got no line. We ain't got no front lines to hide behind. We ain't got no barriers. It's just it's almost like the battle of the bastards in Game of Thrones. It's like, look, ain't nothing here but air and opportunity. Let's get it.
basically. And it's crazy because Armin had a question for him. He was like, once we drag you out of your little stump, in what way are you free? I was
Mhm.
like, gosh, dog, Armin.
Yep.
Armin was like, you know what? I'm tired of this. Because
Yep.
it was crazy because, like you said, in the second plane, I mean, before they got there, they had kind of contemplated. Then, like, Mikasa kind of threw her head down. She didn't want to do it. Armin's eyes shifted for the very first time. Like, Armin's eyes just went like cold for
Mhm.
a second. We just didn't know where it was going to be. And I didn't perceive that they would catch up. And so when they caught up, I was like, oh, this is going to get interesting.
Yep.
It's getting interesting real quick. But, bruh, dude, like so much emotional damage, like
Yep.
so much carnage. Like, honestly, like the whole first, well, I want to say like what, 15-20 minutes was just death and carnage.
Mhm.
Like, that just broke your heart. Like, it didn't, at a certain point, you kind of like, yeah, they've been oppressing these folks for hundreds of years and whatnot. And people that aren't even involved have just kind of been letting it stand by. But when you see something like this was a whole castle, bro. A
Yep.
whole freaking castle. The only thing left is dirt and a door.
Yep.
Nothing. No rubble, no
Half a
blood,
door.
nothing. Right.
Half a door. You don't even get the whole door, bro. You get the right side facing door, and that's it.
Like, when that's the situation. And oh, dude, this what broke my heart, dude. He was looking at what's her
At his
name?
friend.
No, 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 no. He saw what's her name? The founder.
Oh, Emir.
Yep. He saw
Emir.
her with the in the corner of his eye, and all of a sudden, like, his whole stuff got caved in. Like, I was like,
Mhm.
I mean, I've seen some harsh animes in a while, but that was some Ninja Scroll stuff, bro. Like,
Yep.
his whole, like, you saw every little bit of detail down to his teeth.
Yep.
And I was just
Gone.
like,
Because I was sitting there like, are they gonna? Are they showing it? Are they show? Oh, they basically pushed it as far as they could.
and it's so sad because Aaron, I didn't realize it, but at the time, I guess Aaron pulled him here while this was happening. Because
Mm.
initially I kind of was like, oh, okay, maybe this was in the past. But was this in the past, or did he bring him to the whatchamacallit and show him that?
I kind of had a feeling that I think it was kind of in the past.
Yeah, I think
I
so
think
too.
I think they were. I'm thinking that it was a flashback of Aaron, but also um the fact that Aaron had already seen the future.
Yeah.
You know, so even though Aaron probably was looking in the past, or it was a flashback of him showing us the audience, a flashback of the past, but him already knowing what the future is. So we're watching him apologize profusely to this boy because he's still, and that's really where I think that, and actually, now that you bring it up, that particular moment where he doesn't, he's walking away, but he still can't walk away and let that boy get killed even though he knows he's going to kill him later. That's the little glimmer bit that makes me think that he's not going to die.
Mm.
If he had walked away and let that little boy get killed, you know, it would be understandable knowing that they're all going to die anyway.
Yeah.
But the simple fact that he can't let go of that, yes, I'm going to end up killing you anyway, but and honestly, maybe this would have been the better way for you to die, but I can't comfortably let that fate happen to you.
Right.
And it's almost like he's treating him the way he treated his friends. It's like, I'm pulling you to this place because I want to give you some form of a chance. Although
Mm.
I know you're not going to make it, I still
Mhm.
want to give you some form of a chance. So instead of you being in the city while I'm tearing it up, you get to be out here in the woods and try to make it. But he knows he's not going to make it. So he's already profusely apologizing to him. But
Yeah.
I think just for those actions is why I think Aaron is going to make it in the end.
Yeah, these moments right here, I kind of was like confused by them. But then when we heard about Falco and Gabby talking about Falco's dreams, I was like, the sky. This is what Aaron is seeing. And so when we're seeing Aaron like this is him kind of walking through. He's just seeing blue skies, but really it's
Mhm.
nothing but death and destruction all over. I feel like there was a
Mhm.
scene, there was like a wasteland of just dead bodies and stuff, and then
Mhm.
it transitioned over to him and what he saw, and I was
Yeah.
like, I guess it makes sense because you trampling over everyone, creating mass genocide. You got to be able to have a part of your brain that's, you know,
Mhm.
able to maneuver forward. So
Yeah.
it makes sense why he reverted back to a kid.
Yeah, I think for him, his mindset is with everything decimated, once all the dust is settled, there's nothing but clear sky.
Yeah.
There's nothing. There's literally nothing else around at all. But what I also find interesting about that is when you see all the folks that have gone when Hanji wakes up in heaven, what have you, they're all standing in the footprints of the rumbling.
Right. Like
That
this right here. This is ugh. Jeez,
mhm,
boy.
it's crazy. It's crazy. But real quick, I apologize.
You good.
That scene that you brought up with Armin at in that moment in the other plane,
Mhm.
that was also a bit of a out of left field thing for me. It was
Right.
almost like while the rumbling's going on, Aaron is trying to find a way to communicate with Armin,
Yeah.
you know, and maybe it's not working out so well, but it's almost like he's trying to talk with Armin. And then he finally does when they're all there. But
Yeah.
yeah, I thought that was pretty crazy too.
Yeah, because even the timing of when he brought them here, it was when they were trying to discuss a last resort. Almost as though, okay,
Mm.
yeah, that's what you need to focus on because there's no other way.
Yeah, like when that right, like they were talking about. Well, I think what he was doing was when they were talking about the last resort, it was Armin that was like, "It's good to have a last resort, but it is a last resort."
Right.
And it took me back to that scene where Armin and Aaron are fighting in that one room with Mikasa there. Like they were having a discussion of Aaron doing the things he's doing
Mhm.
with the Jaegers and all that, and he's Aaron and Armin are going at it, and I mean Aaron's basically beating his
Millie
behind,
whopping
but
them.
Molly whopping this dude. But it takes me back to that. It's almost like here's Aaron interfering again with, well, interrupting your thought process. You know,
Mhm.
like no matter how strategic Armin is, he always tries to find the most positive situation where everybody comes out.
Yeah,
You
he
know,
does.
understanding though that that's not always going to be the case. I mean, like he told Annie, I've killed friends. I to get here, I've taken out people. I'm already a monster, but he still tries to find the best solution in order to come out on top, you know. And for him, it's not about him winning, it's about everybody making it back home, if you will.
Yeah.
And here comes Aaron, much like he did when they were fighting out, like, look, you can't avoid this. There is no last resort. Your last resort is the resort,
Right.
you know, because there's like, well, why'd you bring us here to discuss the fact that there's nothing more to discuss.
Yeah.
There's no need for any more discussion. You want to win, you got to kill me.
Yeah, it's so interesting because even though, like, I've always been, y'all see, I'm team Ackerman, I'm team Levi, I'm team Mikasa, but since the beginning, since the first season, since the moment that Aaron saved Armin's life from getting eaten, like, it makes so much sense how we got to where we are right now.
Yep.
Like, this couldn't. like all the different times that Armin has felt helpless, that he hasn't been able to help physically, that he kind of felt like he was a burden outside of his mind, like all culminated to this. Like he at this point, even more so than Levi and Mikasa, maybe the most valued asset that we have. I'm talking like we, like this is actually happening.
Yeah.
Value asset like they have to be able to stop Aaron.
Mm-hmm.
And it ain't just because they're best friends, it's because he physically and mentally can try to find a way to deal with this.
Yep.
Um,
Agreed.
and Aaron knows that. I just don't know if Aaron's been trying to keep him alive for two different reasons. Because it goes back to the Mikasa thing. It's like, is she doing what she's doing because she's Ackerman or because she loves him? Is Aaron trying to save, Armin because he knows that later on Armin has to be the one to stop him? Or it's because it's his best friend? Or is it both? I don't know. I
I
think
was
that's
gonna
the
say,
genius of the
I was gonna
writing.
tell you why can't I was gonna ask you, you know what, why can't it be both? I
It,
would not be surprised if it's both.
it's just kind of like what is the most important thing? You know what I mean by that? Like it's kind of like it can be both, but what's your real true intent? Like, is it that, this is my best friend and he's also the only one that can be able to stop me? This is the woman
Mhm.
for a fact that loves you, but she also inherently has an ability that is connected to you too. Like, what is, because I mean, that's the question of the character. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But
Well, I think for AOT, the most important thing is stopping Aaron.
yeah.
And I think what they were dealing with was a W.E.B. Du Bois versus Booker T. Washington, or a Martin Luther King versus Malcolm X
Mm,
dichotomy, where it was like, okay, do we stop him through non-violence, through peace, through talk, or is this by any means necessary?
on
And
site.
right. And Aaron is basically answering that question for you. He's like, he basically looked at that dude like, hey, Professor X, you got to Magneto me. And if you can't Magneto me, Professor X ain't gonna work. Like,
Right.
the only way you stop me is by taking me out, because I'm not stopping. Nothing you say to me is going to make me change my mind. Nothing in that intelligent brain of yours, whether you are my best friend or not, is going to stop this rumbling from decimating the world. The
Yeah.
only way you stop it is for you to chuck all that aside, get violent, and take me out.
Yeah, it's interesting because that is an interesting trump card. Like if he gets close to Aaron's head and
Is he going to do it?
transforms,
Is he going to do it?
I don't think he's gonna have a choice, to be honest with you,
Yeah,
because
I mean, that's I agree with you. That's what I think.
like I mean, what they're gonna do? They can't chop it bone. They can't chop it like automatically generating titans forever. Because Aaron could honestly do that forever. Like he could technically reinforce his head because he's got the what's the darn joint? The hammer,
I
the Warhammer
I know.
type.
Yeah, the Warhammer Titan. Yep.
So
Including, he can move his body to another location on that thing
at any time.
at any time. At any time. And that's the thing. But what I find interesting is where he's located, right? They're in an open area of the desert. So if he was to move his body at any time, it's not like they couldn't trail it. You
Right.
know, when he was fighting the Warhammer Titan before, they were around buildings and an environment where you couldn't see where that thing was coming from.
True.
With this one, you can he can try it, but it's not like they can't find it. It's kind of more open. So I find it interesting that in certain aspects of where this fight is about to go down, there are certain advantages that he loses in this aspect. They've
Right.
already grabbed the Beast Titan. The Warhammer Titan, while still useful, he can't really hide himself anywhere,
Right.
you know. And now that they've got Zeke or the Beast Titan, do they actually really have Zeke? because who's to say he didn't use his Warhammer powers to produce the Beast Titan, but
That's what
also put Zeke somewhere else? Because I think that when the Armor Titan grabbed Zeke, especially because it was all white and no actual brown fur, I think that was a production from the Warhammer Titan.
I was thinking that
And
too.
Zeke is still somewhere caged up, coffined up at Aaron's, will. So I think
Yeah.
that's going to make for some interesting episodes. But I enjoyed this. Like this is
It's like it never left, dude.
yeah.
Like I'm exhausted right now. I really need to go somewhere and go to sleep.
Yep, same here. But
But it was worth it.
yep.
Like the joint was fire. 10 out of 10 for me. I
Yeah, I was just
I don't
gonna
have
say.
any negatives. I don't like I'm just surprised. Like it was like I never missed a step.
Yeah. And
Like
I
this
like
isn't
how they
filler.
presented it. 10
Yeah.
out of 10 to me, 10 out of 10 for me because of how they presented it. They gave you the shock to your system with the rumbling. Like, here's what happened since you've been gone.
Right.
Death and destruction on a global scale, and we're going to show you some of that massacre. Then it's like after the shock, it's like, now let's get into the philosophical. Let's get into some of the details of this thing. And they actually presented it incredibly well. It was 10 out of 10 for me for both episodes. Only thing I wish, and this is not a complaint or nothing to bring down the 10 out of 10, I honest to God truly wish we had a break between 1 and 2, even if it was like full on credits,
Intermission.
some intermission, something, because it was just a shock to the system. You didn't even get a time to really ingest that entire episode. That
Yeah.
first episode, it was like, huh? And then he's like, wait, the Sinners, what are we doing? What's going on here? And it's like, oh, we're going right into the next episode. That's the
Yeah.
only thing. But you know what? I get it. They're trying to draw people in, and they're like, because we've been away so long, and because it's part 2 of the final season, we're just gonna hit you with these 2 episodes real fast.
Yeah.
So I can't really be mad.
Yeah, my only regret is, I mean, like what he said, but if this would have came out in the movie theaters,
Oh yeah.
dog, I would have flipped. And it's not like the quality is great. Quality is great. So it's not that the quality wouldn't have been there. I would have just, you know what? I remember a rumor. I think I talked to you about it last year that they were trying to make a Attack on Titan movie.
Yeah, like an OWA movie or something like that.
And the way that they did this and stuck these 2 episodes together, I almost feel like that. Like I was kind of like, they should just release this out in the theaters. And I mean, they might still, but
I mean, if they were gonna do it, if they were to weave it where they did like the first 3 episodes, and then it was like to be continued in Attack on Titan, the final season, part 2, episode 4, like that's an hour and a half, and that's an hour and a half of some good stuff, or
right.
even if however many episodes there are, to, like, let's say they're going to be like 10 more episodes, the first 4 giving you 2 good hours, close to 2 good hours, and you can go right into episode 5 when they bring the season back, because that everything about these first 2 these first episodes felt like a movie, felt like you're going right in. It was just beautiful. It was beautifully done. But if they were going to do a movie, I would have told them find a way to just seam the 2 more episodes, make it an even 2 hours. Kind of like when we saw Demon Slayer and we saw the Mugen Train. Yeah, that was beautiful. In fact, I don't really think they needed to turn that into an episodic series. They could have just made that movie part of the series, but they didn't do that. But I think 2 more episodes, make this a 2-hour flick. It would have been epic. It would have been epic.
Yeah. We're going to go, guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit that bell button. When the last part 2 of part 3 of the final season comes up, we will be there. All right. Take care, everybody. Peace. Filing out the top of
skyline. 50 mile radius on my timeline.